Right now, you can find our Tackle HD Crankhead and Square Bill 2-packs in over 200 Walmart locations across the Midwest. It's a great value, and we've got some awesome colors for you to choose from. Just look for the Tackle HD display next time you visit the fishing aisle at Walmart. With your Tackle HD fishing report for Lake of the Ozarks, here's Jack Uxa.
What's going on, everybody? It's your Tackle HD fishing report with Jack Uxa here. Lake of the Ozarks has been fishing pretty good here lately. Water levels have slowly been on the rise. Water temperature is, give or take 60 degrees. It's a little above 60 degrees in the afternoons, a little bit below in the mornings. Water's clear almost everywhere, which is a little different for us. Usually we've got some part of the lake that's got some dirty water to it. And to be honest with you guys, I haven't been up to like the 50, 60, 70 mile mark or anywhere around there. So that might be some stained water. But yeah, it's been good. Just did a crappie trip today. It's kind of started off being more of a multi-species trip. And we started catching some really nice crappie, and we just kept going that direction. So I'll start off with the crappie, and then we'll talk about the bass here in a little bit. But yeah, crappie have been good. We're down on the 1 to the 12 mile marker, the lower end of the lake. A lot of crappie down there still have not spawned. They're still got a lot of eggs, and we're not really catching them on the banks anymore. A couple weeks ago, we were catching a lot of crappie on the banks. They were literally spawning, and now we're catching males that are out in 15, 20 feet of water. We're catching females that have still got some eggs. It's pretty normal. They'll have eggs year round, and a lot of the eggs are pretty big. And there'll be some little waves that'll move up to the banks, and you'll catch them right on the bank for a little bit, especially at night. But we're getting to the point now to where a lot of the crappie are just going to be more active out deep again. And to be honest with you, I'm okay with that. I like cheating. I like using that live scope up front. I just got a new boat, Lund, and a lot of people are going to be pretty surprised when they see me driving this Lund, but it's not your traditional type of Lund with the big windshield and all that. This is a bass boat, first and foremost. I mean, it's got just as big of a front deck as my old 21-foot bass boat, and it's got just as big of a back deck as my old bass boat, plus it's got a lot more comfortable seating area here, and we all know Lake of the Ozarks can be pretty rough. So man, this boat is tricked out. I've got the 12-inch live scope up front, and yeah, I like to cheat. I like to use that live scope when I can and point out fish from our customers and see where they're hanging out. And honestly, the guys at White's Marine over there at Pomme de Terre, they did a great job rigging it because it's the best live scope I've ever had. I've had several different units now, and it matters who wires it. And there's some people that, and plus the new 34 transducer makes a big difference too. I mean, but man, I'm seeing better than ever before, no doubt. And it's crazy good. So we're catching all these fish. We're on the outside of the docks. We're not even having to shoot the docks. There's a lot of fish that are schooled up on the outside of the docks. Sometimes it's kind of like, hey, there's a shade line here, guys. Cast near or into the shade line and work it through there. And then sometimes they're just kind of roaming around. Now, we just had a big cold front come in. Our cold fronts now aren't that bad, though. They're like mid-50s, but you got a strong north wind or a west wind. And, it was chilly, but they were still biting. The water temperature has gotten to the point now where it's not like it's knocking us back into the 40s anymore. 50s, upper 50s is not bad. So that's all good. Crappie fishing's excellent. The trolling bite is going good too. A couple days ago, I did a deal out of the PB2, the state park area, and then we went out to like Redheads area, and we were trolling all of that, covering a lot of ground, covering a lot of territory. It's a cool way to see the lake, and if you're not a fisherman, it's fun, it's easy, and you'll catch just about everything that swims. And that bite is starting up. You could take your Tackle HD crankheads, troll those back behind your boat. You could troll just about anything, guys. You can have fun with it. I mean, for years, people were just throwing the Bandit 300s, and they work. There's nothing wrong with those things, but you can mix it up. I don't know exactly how to explain why they'll bite a crawdad colored crankbait in 40 feet of water, 10 feet down, but they do, and it works. And if you don't believe me, just try it because they'll bite it out there. So crappie fishing is great. Bass fishing is still always more challenging. It's always more just involved. Well, speaking of more involved, so like one of the best baits going on right now is a wacky worm. Okay, so Tackle HD has a sticks worms that they've got out. This is the watermelon red. Gosh, this is an awesome bait right now, guys. This will help you get behind the docks better than any other bait out there. Casting accuracy and getting to those hard to reach places behind the catwalks, in and around the cables is a big deal right now. Back in the day, people used to get all excited about pea gravel. Nowadays, pea gravel is still important, but it ain't as important as a dock. I'd much rather get back behind a dock. I get much more excited when I see a cable than I see a laydown. On your ponds, laydowns wood is a big deal. Here, you get much more excited about seeing a nice dock with some cables back there and some hard to reach areas, and that's what you get excited about because that's where you're really going to get a bite. The laydowns are helpful. Any kind of shallow cover is good, but cables, the things that people hate, are a bigger deal. So Tackle HD, sticks, worm, watermelon red, it's hard to beat. I've got braid on this rod. That's a big deal. Gosh, another big deal is Carolina rigs. Okay, this is the big Megamite. Okay, this is on a Carolina rig. I will Carolina rig a variety of baits right now, but this is a good one. It's got a lot of good action to it. I've also got one rod rig with a smaller Helgramite right here. This is watermelon red. This is a 5-inch one. They also make a 3-inch. I haven't really been doing that one so much, but man, you can Carolina rig a variety of baits right now. We've been doing some of these speed bugs on the back of our Carolina rigs too. Dipping a little chartreuse on the claws. Those have been good. I have not done the brush buster, but I guarantee there's going to be some guys out there taking these things and Carolina rigging them. This might not be the color of choice right now. This is just one I quickly grabbed, but this is a double tail, kind of a smaller than your average brush hog, and these are great baits for Carolina rigging. You could rig just about anything. A needleworm, a hog monster. Really soft plastics in general have been much more dominant lately. Speaking of which, this is another bait that I've been meaning to throw. This is a wobblehead with one of our Tackle HD speed bugs. I've been meaning to throw this. I know it's going to be working right now. When the Carolina rig gets going, the wobblehead bite gets going, and I take this particular crawdad with the real big, flapping claws on it, and just grind it along the bottom. If I was going to be fishing a tournament, I've been busy guiding lately. If I was going to be fishing a tournament here lately, I'd be throwing this in a heartbeat because this thing is going to get some good bites. This is a cool bait that I want to talk a little bit about. Tackle HD makes some awesome jig heads. This is what they call the stealth jig head. And this is a little beaver type bait from Berkeley. It's one of their max scent baits. I'll skip this thing back behind the docks, and I get a little rough with it. So I've got out. This is one of our craw beavers from Tackle HD, okay, and this is the stealth jig head I was talking about, and I've got my little super glue here, guys. I know it's a little fuzzy there, but I will take this bait. And I make sure to take my time with it, get it on there nice and straight. Work it up there. Take my super glue. A couple drops. Push it up there. And this will work with just about any kind of soft plastic bait. But I really like these jig heads because it's easy to set the hook with them, and they skip really good. And with that super glue on there, you can get kind of rough with this bait. You could take this thing and just skip it as hard as you can, like you would skip a rock, and make it go underneath the cables and underneath the walkways to the dock. Okay, and that's a big deal right now because we've had a million tournaments. We've had well over 100 tournaments already this year, and those, they're going to slow down a little bit. But we got Anglers in Action coming up. We got the guys from FLW coming up. So we've got a ton of them coming up. FLW guys will be here by the time this thing airs. I've already seen several of them out in the water. I also want to talk about this jig head. This is the MF shaky head. This thing is awesome. This thing does not get enough love. It's got a great hook. There's some other shaky heads on the market that they either have too light of a hook or too heavy of a hook, and some people will lose some fish on some shaky heads that have got too heavy of a wire hook. This thing's sharp as can be. I've got this rod here rigged with it. It matches the worm just great. This is that needle worm. I cut a little bit off the head here, and you can see, like, there's some shaky heads out there that just, it's too big for the worm. Okay, this is a shaky head that will fit this style of worm just good. And honestly, last year when Jesse Wiggins won that big Major League Fishing tournament here on Lake of the Ozarks, I pretty much called it. I said, shaky head bite is on fire right now. And sure enough, that's what ended up winning the tournament. So, is that going to change? Probably not. It's pretty easy. Throw that around the dock cables and everything, and you still got to pay attention. You still got to feel those little light bites. These fish are pretty educated by now. But there's a lot of fish out there biting. There's a lot of males up on the banks right now. A lot of your fish are coming, your deepest fish are coming 10, 12 feet, and a lot of the bucks are up there in 2 to 3 feet. So topwater bite has started up too. It's not all the time, but it's pretty darn fun. So a lot of things are going on with the bass fishing lately. Crappie fishing is not as hot as it was, but it's still pretty good. And that's about it. Good luck, guys. Tight lines.